Greetings and beyond the news. Today we got why 90s movies felt different. I don't know. I guess it's like most things in life. No, wait, not most things in life. I think it's because it was more grainy. You feel me? Like this scene, Jurassic Park, never seen it, but look at it. It's all scary. Like I haven't seen like Jurassic Park at all, but like the newer ones is more clean cut. I don't know. Same thing with like certain anime. Like the newer stuff is nice to look at, like it's all shiny and whatnot. But the old stuff where it's all gritty, I, I don't know. It's just like a little has an aesthetic. That's the word. The aesthetic. See? Oh.
The 90s, the decade of bucket hats, extra wide pants, and chokers. Come to think of it, all of those fashion trends are currently back with a vengeance. But you know what doesn't feel like 1994 again? Movies. The films that are released today don't look, sound, or have anywhere near the artistic grasp of movies from the 1990s. But why is that?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
The 90s were a halcyon time. Studios presented films to the public that had depth and a diversity distinctly unlike what we have in the Cineplex today. And yet, the formula that was used to achieve these goals is being completely ignored. So why don't the studios today simply redo the playbook? What's stopping production companies from just trying to recapture that magic with an eye aimed?
That's a good question because they have a lot more money now to play with, or more money now because inflation and whatnot. With more money to play with, you would think it would look a lot cooler. And personally, I'm not like a movie buff to a point where I'm criticizing new movies because I'm only 20 and like I just watch movies for fun. That's my thing. Like even on this channel where I'm watching recaps, this is just for fun. I'm not trying to criticize movies. I have a a letterbox, but I don't use it. Probably should. But yeah, me and my cousin were talking about it. Like certain movies are like too bright. You feel me? Like it's a detective show, but there's no like detective movie, but there's no like darkness to like show who's bad. There's no like people aren't like positioned to show like who's more important. You feel me? Like hopefully he talks about that.
Aimed towards a modern audience. Well, the answer is multifaceted yet simple. But bluntly, it can't.
That's f***ing crazy, man.
A big reason that comes to mind is that the films that were given the green light didn't all fit into one budget class. Many of the movies that were made in the 90s were mid-budget affairs. Sure, you had your blockbusters and would-be cultural juggernauts, but you also had a healthy and robust middle class of filmmaking efforts. Films like Air Force One, Falling Down, or Pulp Fiction, their budgets weren't large, and that allowed the directors to take creative risks that would then potentially yield outsized rewards. They were allowed to have a vision, because the money at stake wasn't in the hundreds of millions. They were films that had something to say or said something familiar in an unconventional way. Pulp Fiction is almost literally just a collection of the most rote and familiar crime movie tropes repackaged and presented in a glossy fashion. And it won an Oscar.
Yo, bro, I need to watch Pulp Fiction, bro. I've been hearing about it in my like American film class. I need to watch it, bro. It's on my list.
It's a movie that just flat out wouldn't be greenlit today. A connection of interwoven short stories, and there isn't any underlying IP? Forget about it.
Nah, man. I'm pretty far from okay.
And even if it did get made, it wouldn't have been a cultural juggernaut. It wouldn't have even got a theatrical release. It would have been dumped straight to Netflix, starring whatever actor is fresh off a box office hit. Yet another major contributing factor as to why 90s films feel different is that they were shot on actual film. That's right, the mechanisms of the industry felt different because the actual technical specifications were different. When you're shooting on film, it's an arduous process that informs the end result due to the restrictions it imposes on the process.
They just kind of pointed it at us, fired it up, and blew kerosene exhaust on us. It's not pleasant, I'll tell you that right now, but man, that wind does blow.
Not only are you only able to do a certain amount of takes before you're wasting money, but also you can't shoot prolonged 20-minute takes because 35mm magazines can only hold a...
But couldn't that be done in like, with new cameras nowadays? You could just like, someone can just, fix the camera in a way to make it look like it was made in the 90s and all that. Again, not a movie buff. Don't really care as long as I enjoy it. I don't particularly care what a movie looks like. But yeah, but if we're talking about it, how come they can't just have the technology to, you know what I'm saying, remake it or
Certain amount of
improvise?
film footage. Not to mention, the look of the film can't be matched. The grain, tiny scratches, and all the slight imperfections elevate the visuals to a place that feels like movie magic. Even fantastic modern films that are shot digitally just don't look as good. Look at this scene from Ex Machina. The scene is compelling, the special effects are fantastic, and the color grading is even done very well. But because the film is shot with a digital sensor, everything just has a flatness and lack of depth to it that every film shot in 1994 inherently had. During this time period, the independent studios were king. They ushered in nothing short of an artistic renaissance for the film medium. Movies made outside of the system aimed at adults were hugely successful. Slacker, Swingers, Good Will Hunting, and My Own Private Idaho. Films that were made by artists with a vision and then connected with a fan base, either slowly through becoming a cult hit or through bombastic box office returns.
How do you like them apples?
They were so popular that most of the big legacy studios opened up production shingles to make movies like this. Fox had Fox Searchlight, MGM bought Orion, and of course Disney bought the granddaddy of them all, Miramax. Known for fundamentally reshaping American culture in the 90s, Miramax single-handedly launched the careers of directors like Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, Kevin Smith, and countless other indie auteurs. Studios like this and a robust film festival circuit created a direct pipeline that helped these individuals making personal films find their respective audiences. Every movie produced in the 90s benefited from this new ecosystem, whether that be
I know he's gonna talk about it, but shouldn't that be like a lot easier to do nowadays? Especially with like how big the internet is. Like all you gotta do is go on a good marketing campaign, like Timothy Chalamet from Marty Supreme, which I haven't seen yet. Yeah, just go on a good marketing campaign for your movie. That's really what gets people in the seats, because everything is remix nowadays, and with TikTok and everything, if you really want to get people butts in seats, bro, marketing is everything.
directors who got their start in indie cinema and transitioned to the studio system, or the indie movies becoming cultural phenomena. Movies in the 1990s felt like they had more of an authorial perspective because directors and actors had more places to take their work. Bidding wars could happen, and the artists could gain leverage so they could ensure that the contracts they were signing granted them rights such as final cut, a share of the top gross, or control over the marketing of the film. Do these things happen today? Yes, but they're few and far between. A contributing factor to this is that fame functions differently today than it did in the 90s. Movie stars don't really exist in the way that they did. How many Marvel movies does it take to get the green light on their passion project? For every Rian Johnson who played the Star Wars game and then got to leave to make a trilogy of Knives Out movies, you have an army of creatives like Jonathan Liebsman or Louis Leterrier, journeyman filmmakers trapped on the hamster wheel of IP farming. Most creators today get trapped in that machine and they can't break free. In the 90s, that machine literally didn't exist. Look at Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi and then was originally slated to take over the Avengers Kang Dynasty before that movie got canceled. He literally didn't have anywhere else to go. Sure, he did a Disney Plus streaming series, but now he's back directing the new Spider-Man, which is either very bleak or an endorsement of his ability to play the game. Back in the day, studios weren't greenlighting things exclusively on the project's viability to jumpstart a franchise. Many of the films that were released were small, intimate, personal stories about people struggling with everyday problems. The romantic comedy genre was massive in the 1990s. Theatrical comedies were huge. Even just dramas about people standing.
See, that's what I'm saying, bro. We need Adam Sandler to come back and just go crazy, right? We need something just so dumb it's good, bro. That's what I need. I need to see Happy Gilmore too, man. I need to see watch Happy Gilmore for a second time, then Happy Gilmore 2 one day. Man, I love Adam Sandler movies, bro.
In a room talking made hundreds of millions of dollars. Tom Cruise jump-started an entire genre of movies about lawyers. That just doesn't happen now. The Firm? That's going straight to streaming. A Few Good Men? That doesn't even get made.
You can't handle the truth!
That's not to say it was all sunshine and roses back in the day. The 90s were bleak in their own specific way. Stories, largely speaking, needed to be grounded. Anything with a genre bend needed to be validated from an external perspective. Video games, comics, and anything even remotely regarded as nerdy was extremely hard to get off the ground. And when it did, it needed to be clad in black leather and feature a propulsive techno soundtrack. The landscape in some ways is a 90s kid's ultimate daydream, and yet, too much of a good thing is objectively too much of a good thing. It's alienating to admit, but the movie industry was in a better place in the 90s. The movie industry needs diverse and disparate components in order to have a healthy life cycle. We need directors with vision and autonomy, movie stars with taste and power, and production companies that are willing to take risks and attempt to push culture further. These days, it feels like we only have monolithic empires attempting to strip mine culture.
Yeah, bro, I learned about this in school. Like, Disney, like, it's only like, what, 3 major companies? Disney, Warner. Does Disney that's what I'm saying, bro. You don't know if Disney owns everything or just like only 3 people that own everything and they're just trying to make their money back over and over again. Yeah, bro. Who knows? Y'all probably, if you like making movies, my advice from a person who doesn't make movies and has only been in one short film, but has seen a whole bunch of movies, I would just say YouTube, dog. Make a bunch of short films. Have people fall in love with like your creative process, your, what I'm saying, your own individual storytelling, and then like once you have like some credits under your belt and like studios know you can put butts in seats, and then that's when you can get into the game for real.
Culture for blood and treasure. The techniques, industry apparatus, and level of exploration that was happening in the 90s objectively yielded more interesting and thought-provoking work. To say nothing of the fact that the movies just literally looked better because they were shot on film. Today, there's a constant alarm bell ringing that the theatrical experience is dying. And you know what? It is in trouble. Aside from the rare standout of a Nolan or PTA film, the production is inferior, and on-demand viewing has trained people to stay at home. Why did the films produced in the 90s feel different? Because they were different. They were high quality, less cynical, and more authorial. Does that mean that utter dreck didn't squeeze through? Of course not.
Make up your melon!
But the boneheaded studio moves or lowest common denominator plays pale in comparison to everything that's just routinely happening throughout the filmic landscape today. Film, like culture, is elastic. It's going to wax and wane depending on a myriad of factors. The real question ahead of us isn't even a qualitative one. It's, can we survive this? Will the pendulum of culture swing back the other direction? Will we have a new generation of people?
Yeah, bro. Cause what is it? Art, movies, art, fashion, whatever artistic music, whatever artistic field or subculture you're a part of, it's a circle. Same way how people love wearing baggy clothes at one point, and then they love wearing skinny jeans. Then it went back to baggy. Then it went back to skinny jeans. Movies, like at a point in time there were like all these franchises. They were like focusing on making their money back, and then the time of new IPs came, and then yada yada yada. It's a cycle. It's gonna come back. So where, people are making more independent movies, and those independent movies are going to be fire. But then it's going to come back and it's going to go, you know what I'm saying? Like, history always repeats itself.
Falling in love with the movies and ushering a second golden age? Or are we all doomed to just click thumbs up on an infinite playlist of existential mukbangs? Only time will tell. So, what do you think? Are we in a better or worse place than the 90s? Let us know.
Personally, as a person who's not too critical on movies, but who has been around people who are critical on movies have gotten worse. Not in my perspective, just talking to people who really care about it. Movies have gotten worse. You know what I'm saying? Is what it is. Why'd I pull out toilet paper? Cannot tell you. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Doses.